Welcome, and thank you for watching Quillbilly Garage. Today we're going to take a trip down my own family's memory lane and look at some of the toy cars that my dad and my uncle played with when they were kids. I'm not an expert on these vintage toy cars, but I'll throw out some brands and some general age of things. But again, I'm no expert. If you've got any specific knowledge of any of these toys, please by all means share them in the comments. So these toys, it's in some ways a miracle that they've lasted this long. When my dad and uncle were growing up, they didn't live in a very large, in fact, they lived in a trailer that they towed behind their car to wherever the job sites were. And as such, there wasn't a lot of room for keeping extra stuff. So the fact that these toys survived, the 30s, 40s, 50s, and then today is pretty neat. So I'm glad to have them. And let's take a tour. So these three in the foreground here are hard rubber toys. They get pretty fragile. You can see on this orange truck that long ago the side of it broke out. Looks like this one, the paint's been touched up on it before. Some of the brands of these early hard rubber toys are Auburn the brand, and not to be confused with Auburn the make of car, and Sun Rubber Company is another one of them. I'm not sure what each one of these is, but likely one of those two brands. And then another style of toy car are these pressed steel toys. The brand of these is probably Wyandotte, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that red car goes with that trailer, but they looked good together. Pretty neat stuff here. Opening door on the back. This, I think, was a Roadster, and the windshield frame is long gone. Pretty cool little dump truck here. We'll skip over here to this toy. This is a little newer than the others, as I understand it. This is more from the 50s, whereas I think the other ones are from the 30s and 40s. So this may have been one that got added to the collection later on, and maybe wasn't even one of my dad's toys. But this is a Thimble Drome Special. Missing the front axle and one of the wheels. Then we get over here into some of the die-cast cars. So we have this Cadillac here, and I distinctly remember playing with this at my grandparents' house when I was a kid. And as you can see on this side, the paint is rubbed off. That was my doing. I remember my grandparents, they had, remember the old TV trays that you could set up in front of the couch so you could eat while you're watching TV? Well, we'd set them up, and that's what I'd play with these old cars on. And this particular one, I remember that I would hold it tightly against it. Might have been this one, I'm not sure, but I'd hold them tightly together and then drive them around the TV trays. So unfortunately, I scratched the paint off, but I don't mind too much because it brings back fond memories of my childhood. I'm just going to do a little tour around here. I don't know a lot of the details or any details on these. It seems like a number of the die-cast ones, that Tootsie Toy is the brand. We get into the fire trucks. This fire truck here is not a Tootsie Toy. It says Kiddie Toy and Hubley on the bottom of it. And then this ladder truck over here, this one for sure was not my dad's. It's something I picked up somewhere, maybe at a swap meet or a garage sale. That is a Dinkey Toy, is the brand of that. So again, we have basically 3 different types of manufacturing here. The hard rubber toys, the pressed or stamped steel toys that you can see here, and then the die-cast metal ones. I'll take the time to do a close-up on a few of the cars. I'm especially fond of these old stamped steel cars. I think they're just a cool deal. And for some of the rubber ones, again, if any of you have specific knowledge about any of these particular toys and would like to share it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments section. And with that, I'll wrap up this episode. Again, thank you for tuning into Quillbilly Garage and watching this episode. I've enjoyed taking a moment to share with you these cool vintage toys from my father's childhood. If you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out there, I hope you'll consider hitting the like button at the bottom of each episode and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I appreciate that. And if you have any comments, I try to keep up on those and will answer any questions that I can. Or again, if you have any knowledge that you want to share about these toys, I would love to hear from you. Thanks again.